I then threw my hat in the political career and in the political arena. It was the parliamentary election, and I was asked to run by Joseph Richardson. And I remember that conversation very well because Joe came up to me and he said, I've been looking at you for a while, and I think you have what it takes to be a politician. Would you be interested in running? And I said at the time, well, I will have to think about it. I've always I said the politically
correct thing.
But I could tell you, as I walked off from that conversation, it was actually in the cemetery at Acme Hodges' funeral.
Okay.
Mario Hodge, his dad, and Clive Hodge's dad. It was actually at that funeral. And I could tell you when I walked off, I could have, my mind was yes. Made up already, right there. And I went to my nephew, Dwayne, and I said, Joseph Richardson just asked me to run in politics. So to me, it was like an honor to have a man like Joe asking me to run. But he always saw something in me, even at that young age, that I didn't see in myself. Okay.
But talk to us about your relationship with the late Joseph Richardson. He was your mentor, he was your advisor, and he was your all-around good friend.
He was my father.
Okay.
He was my political father. Yeah. He advised me in every area of not only politics but life. And I always say I'm the man.
And you listened.
And I listened. And that's why I'm still here. That's why I've endured through time, because I've listened, and it's amazing. I said it just now. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. My candidates chose, and myself, we chose to get into this political race when we're at our lowest point as a country. So we have to be the good Samaritans, because anybody else, because Valerie, I interviewed and asked a lot of people to run. Some were scared of political victimization. Again, it was a snap election. Some were on vacation, they couldn't. And some said, well, maybe next time. But the general consensus that I got is that people were afraid, and I said, afraid, to come out. And I said, if the persons who can actually contribute to the well-being of St. Martin, persons that I think is good and can actually contribute positively, are afraid, they're saying no, they don't want to, for whatever reasons, and you have to respect. But the persons who are doing it for selfish reasons are not saying no. They're not even thinking about it. You ask and they're in. And then we have a collapse of government. You have 17 days. I could see myself asking Joseph Richardson, saying, I used to call him Dada. I used to say, Dada, I can see me saying, we have an opportunity to throw down the government. And I could hear him saying, let me throw it around in my head. And I could hear him coming back the next day and saying, now wouldn't be the time. Now is not the right time. Because if you throw it down now, you're going to have to be able to live with a criteria of 17 days yourself when you're elected. You're also going to have to be willing to, you have to understand that around this time, if Article 59 is invoked, a lot of people is going to be away on vacation. You're also going to have to understand that the people just came out of an election. They're going to be disgruntled with the whole system.
Thank you.
All of these factors he would have outlined, which I am outlining now. So that's to show you where the experience that I have achieved, because I know that that wouldn't have fly then. And had I been asked, that's the advice I would have given. Don't do it now. Because you are yourself now, so the election goes down, a new government is formed after August the 19th. Is and should the criteria, the residual pay for parliamentarians after their term is up. To save the country money, I do not believe that parliamentarians should be entitled to residual pay after your term is up. You didn't have residual pay when you put yourself on a list. You received a good salary for the time you serve. You will receive a pension based on the time that you serve. You do away with it for parliamentarians. Not ministers, because ministers have to relinquish themselves and all other income that they have when you are appointed as a minister. But you do not have to do it as a member of parliament. You could actually have 2 salaries. You could have 3 salaries. If you have other income streams, you can keep them as a member of parliament. Why is it 2? And I'm not a hypocrite, Valerie. I benefited from residual pay.
Yeah.
I benefited from it. But it's something, especially when we're in these dire financial straits, you have to show the general public that you are willing to cut the fat too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are willing to take measures that is just not advantageous. You know, and that's exactly one. Those are the points. Those are some of the points that when we're sitting down with whoever, we're going to have to come in, and they of course are going to have some stuff that we didn't necessarily campaign on, that we're going to have to see if we could live up to those and say, okay, well, I can see myself defending that. I can see myself defending that.
Okay. Talk to us about this new generation of politicians. Mm-hmm. What is your, your thoughts on them? You know, I know it's.
They are exactly where I was when I
started.
Exactly.
That's why I asked you the question.
Yeah, exactly where I was. You know, you have a perception is truth, and it's nowhere that is more prevalent than in politics, because how you are perceived is a reality. I said something that everything that I have been called and everything that I have been accused of in my 30 years in politics is the truth. And why I say this? Because if I tell you something or you hear something about me, you may say, no, that doesn't sound like Frankie. I don't believe it. But Ricardo may hear the very same thing. And Ricardo might say, I believe it. So it's someone's truth. So when you put it all together, someone out there, it's never 100% that no, that isn't the truth. Or it is never 100% that it is the truth. So that is the realm of politics. That's why you need experienced people to guide. And I could come here and tell you, had I not had the guidance that I had from Joe, my political career would have crashed and burned a long time ago, because I wanted to do my things my way, not understanding that I am working within a system that's already been established and working way before I came and will continue to work way after I leave. So your contributions, you have to be patient, and your contributions must be one step at a time.
40 engineers were brought in to take care of the GEBE with the installation of the containers. Can you tell me if this is true, and what caused the 10-hour blackout in certain areas yesterday? Can you shed light on that? Because yesterday there are certain areas 5 hours earlier in the day, in the night another 5 hours.
Yep.
And then I'm hearing that GEBE had to bring in a number as much as 40 engineers to be able to install these generators. Is that true?
I do not have a figure. What I know is that by the deal that we have with So Energy, by the order that we had of those 7 generators together producing 10 megawatt, is that they will be here on the island with their team to install them and also to make them operational and to make sure that they stay operational in the coming 3 months, and also including the workers of GEBE also in the process of the production of energy. So that deal was made already by the order of the containers. These technicians were already known that they will fly in. The amount of technicians that they flew in from So Energy, I can check that for you, but I don't have an exact figure for you. Pardon? Okay, my Minister of Labor is telling me that she signed 8 permits for 8 technicians for So Energy. So we have the direct figure from the minister herself, from the Minister of Labor.
I just have a quick one.
Yeah.
A recommendation was made that GEBE do away with all of the. A recommendation has been made that GEBE do away with all of the previous bills, given the whole situation with the billing and so forth, and start anew in October. You were not here last week, so I asked your colleague, but you said you had a discussion with GEB yesterday, and I'd like to know if this issue came up. Can GEB afford to do away with all of the previous bills from consumers and start fresh in October? Is that something that GEB can sustain or afford to do at this point? Thank you.
We realize that the people of St. Martin has suffered from this energy crisis. There's no discussion about that. We realized it completely. Not only the individuals have suffered in their quality of life, but also the country and its economy and its development has been disturbed by the crisis that we are in with the energy supply for our people. So that is a fact. Loose from that, due to mismanagement in the past, GB's financial status is not the best, and we know that too. So we are, of course, discussing and seeing and evaluating if there are possibilities that those questions that I've heard also on the street, if we can do something to that for the people that has been suffering in this country. And I think that I have discussed this proposal with GEBE. It has some challenges. First of all, you're going to request that by a company that has a vulnerable financial status in the first place. Secondly, you have to apply it, and then you will get a group of people that did pay until today will say, but why some are getting a free ride if we forget the past, and I have paid, so you will have to think very, very good on that. And if you recognize that too, you will have to oblige GEBE then to look back and say, okay, those that we have received money from, we have to make a payment form that they're going to get back partially part of their money if you get so far in an agreement with a very vulnerable financial status of our national utility company. But of course, we realize the suffering of the people, and of course, our government would like to do something for the people of St. Martin, realizing the difficult situation that we are in now financially with our people in our country.
Sorry, I don't understand. Are you saying that this proposal is being discussed?
I have, yeah, of course. Seeing that this request is outside there, I discussed that with preliminary with GEBE, and we are talking about it. Nothing has been established, nothing has been promised, but of course, as you feel it, I feel it too. Your concerns, I have too. Realizing the financial challenges of my people in St. Martin is the same as you are encountering on the street. So, of course, as a Prime Minister of the people of St. Martin, I have to consider that too and see if there is an option that we can do something for the people that have been suffering, not this year, more than a year already of this crisis of GB. It's not something that started in May when we started with this government. And don't forget, this started more than a year ago. So we are discussing what options are possible.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to SXV.SX and sign up now.
Your social health insurances.
When election time came up and it was all said and done, little did we know it was going to last 17 days.
Yeah.
And there's only but so much you can do. So when elected, what will be done to get the schools rebuilt for our children?
Yeah, that is the first thing. The structures of the schools right now, I wouldn't say rebuild immediately because there is no budget for that. So
Okay.
steps.
Small steps, huh?
Small steps. Make the necessary changes first within the infrastructure that you already have, and then later on, maybe you can start rebuilding one school at a time. But to say that tear it down and rebuild,
Because they said that money was allocated. You know, they went to this fancy
Yeah.
signing, and then nothing. You
again,
know.
we don't have people that are passionate and fight for education, because if that is your job and you are the head, you're gonna fight all the time.
Thank you.
And you're gonna write, you're gonna call, you're gonna make requests,
Yes.
you're gonna make sure that these things are getting done. And I feel like if you're not passionate and that's not what's priority right now, you're not gonna do it. And for me, I'm passionate about education.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm gonna be
heard.
on it. You tell me tomorrow, you'll get back to me. Tomorrow I'm checking in. So we need that
And
within
then
education.
let the people know, at least be
Exactly.
transparent.
Communication as
that
well.
is-
That was
You know,
very lacking
Yes.
for these past 4 years. And that is where the frustration lies, because you're not communicating, you're not telling us what is going on. So we're becoming frustrated because we feel like you're withholding information. So
Exactly.
definitely communication and transparency.
No, that is huge. That is huge because, like you said, indeed, Prince William Alexander,
Thank
that
you.
had to be.
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
And there are issues because there was issues with money being transferred, I believe, to the contractor, and then money disappeared. This information is within the walls of government, and nobody knows what's happening. While the same children, those that have special needs, are at a school that isn't built for them.
Exactly.
And they are waiting, and why should they even be waiting longer, right? So there's this lack of accountability because monies were dispersed. So what happened? Then you also have an issue with, and you mentioned NRPP. There was a lack of, because I heard one school had to turn into a behavioral center. I can't remember which one that was. But then there's a fight between the vision for the school. What is it going to be? So that's why one entity is blaming the other, and there's always an issue. We cannot continue like this. And because, again, there's this gap where government isn't held as accountable as it should be, and the people, kind of wait. We have too many issues that aren't being solved, and now what we're seeing, I always use the analogy of the house falling apart, right? You don't maintain your house in 50 years, even in 20 years. The cracks, you're looking at the cracks, and everything is going to fall apart, and that's basically where we are now, and that's why it's so critical for persons to not only elect competent, but people that tell you the truth, that have integrity, that are saying, you know what, it is unethical for us to continue without finishing these projects.
That was my point. My point is they are playing the blame game. Well, I believe as a minister, come out and tell the
Just
people.
say what went wrong.
I have tried this. I have done this,
Yes,
and there's no
exactly.
response. Then we know it's not you, but
Exactly.
it's the other party.
Because if nobody is to blame, then what happens then?
Exactly.
What happens?
That is
and who's
frustrating.
suffering?
Yeah, the children, and that is the thing that has me upset. You know,
Yeah.
the children are not learning. It's not conducive to their learning
Exactly.
environment.
Exactly.
It's so frustrating. But
So,
well, maybe what happened on in May was a good thing, because maybe now new people can come on board. And
you know, honestly, we often have this emotional, which is normal. We respond emotionally because we're so tired and drained. But sometimes I just think, you know what? You know, sometimes you kind of, my partner says, solve a problem with a problem. And sometimes, you know, good things come out of things that we perceive to be bad. So I think that's what's going to happen on August 19th. I'm hoping.
there is also the issue, social issues. There's an increased dropout rate. There are, for some, a poor academic performance. All of this goes to school. And when I heard that you were coming on, how passionate you were about education, it says, here's a good person. Any ideas? Your first order of business.
The children are bored. let me tell you, they are bored, and there definitely needs to be a curriculum overhaul. And whether I get in or not, my idea right now is to focus on curriculum change, to incorporate STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, to incorporate that into the curriculum we already have, because they really are bored. And when you get hands-on, when you can be hands-on, when you can see, it really helps them. They're more interested in what they're learning. That is needed right now, because with so much technology, they're always on these devices.
Yes.
They're not going to sit in the classroom listening to you write on the board and reading a book. They want to be involved. They want to learn the information and do it themselves. So by incorporating that, we will have less. My belief is we will have less of this dropout rate, because they won't be bored.
Youth Work Experience Program organized and executed by the Department of Youth, providing paid internship for 117 youths. Of course, this program would not be possible without the input of key stakeholders, and therefore must thank all government departments and private sector organizations for their commitment towards hosting our students. Most importantly, we extend sincere gratitude to the Windward Islands Bank for facilitating our students in setting up their first bank accounts to receive their stipends. Further, in collaboration with the SEDC, the department hosted its third annual youth entrepreneurship training, which saw 12 students completing the intensive training and presenting their business pitch to a panel of judges and the department on July 25th. The department also conducted a first aid, CPR, AED training in collaboration with the WIMS for 21 students who became certified responders. Also in collaboration with the Budget Babe, the department hosted a budget training session for 17 youth on financial planning and literacy. The Ministry of Study Finance received 114 applications, approving 98 and denying 16. I must say there were also those who sent in their appeal. It was thoroughly reviewed, and they were also granted study financing. Students will be studying in 5 Caribbean islands with 25 students remaining in St. Martin and 4 in the international regions. There are 13 educational institutions in the Netherlands, 6 in Canada, 15 in the United States, and 5 in the Caribbean, covering 39 priority areas of study. Details on student departures are as follows. Approximately 23 students departed to the Netherlands on August 4th, 2024, where I, as Minister of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports, saw them off and give them a little pep talk before they left to the Netherlands. They have also reached to the Netherlands safe and is also being guided by one of our own from our education department. Approximately 10 students will depart to Tallahassee on August 14, 2024, and I also will do my utmost best to see them off as their minister. All other students will travel independently or with their parents and guardians, those also who have received study financing for the other parts of the regions, because they have different and separate dates that they will be traveling.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social and health insurances.
Esteemed residents of St. Martin, I would like to take this opportunity to provide you with important insights into the tax restitution or refund process, as I strongly believe in being transparent and providing clarity to the St. Martin residents, as it is crucial for your awareness and participation. Tax compliance is undoubtedly important, but equally significant is timely tax restitution. Once you receive your tax assessment and are eligible for a refund, it is essential that you take action immediately. You can visit the tax office to fill in your form, or you can send an email to taxinfo@stmartingov.org with the required information to ensure your details are added to the monthly refund list. One of the common questions I encountered was why residents need to provide banking information separately when it is already included in their tax income form. Unfortunately, the systems of the inspectorate are not directly linked to those of the receiver's office, which means that the banking information provided on the form is not automatically accessible to the receiver's office. This discrepancy, although seemingly illogical, stems from outdated systems that date back more than 2 decades that cannot be integrated. Rest assured, we are actively working towards improving this process. Another concern raised are individuals who received a restitution last year but still need to resubmit their bank account information. The reason behind this is to ensure accuracy, as bank account details may change over time. While I acknowledge that this process is currently inefficient, our dedicated team at the receiver's office is doing their utmost to manage these challenges within the limitations of manual processes and outdated systems. I also inquired about the possibility of individuals not receiving their rightful refunds because they did not visit the tax office or submit the necessary email requests. Sadly, this is indeed the case, and after 5 years, the assessment becomes statute barred, which regrettably means that your tax refund is no longer collectible. Therefore, I urge you to please request your refund by filling out the form at the tax office or emailing taxinfo@stmartingov.org. During my tenure, changes have already been made to the current tax refund payout process to ensure fairness. Specifically, The changes made will now ensure that those who request their tax reimbursement are now paid on a first-in, first-out basis. The assessments for the year 2020 have been finalized, and they are currently processing the year 2021. If you are eligible for a refund, please submit your tax assessment and banking information promptly to be included in the upcoming payment schedule. Restitution payments are processed on a monthly basis, and a fixed amount is paid out monthly. Once this limit is attained, incoming requests are processed the following month.